welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part two. Uh, After this part, I recommend you go get yourself a drink or something, to kind of relax, soak in this information. Uh, Part two, the catastrophe, aka prom night. May 27th, 1979, Chris and Billy arrive at the school during the prom, and Billy gives Chris instructions, telling her that they need to flee immediately once she pulls the string to dump the blood, and warning her that they are committing assault that will put them in prison if they are caught, and that he will leave without her if she isn't in the car when he gets there. Chris anticipates the vote will not be close, but things will turn out differently. Carrie and Tommy are narrowly elected prom king and queen in a runoff. Tragically, Tommy's vote is the deciding one. While Chris and Billy lurk outside waiting to hear the school song played, which will be Chris's cue, once on stage the school song begins, and Chris pulls the string to release the buckets. Carrie and Tommy are drenched in pig blood. One of the buckets falls on Tommy's head, knocking him out. The result is general laughter, including the teachers, as she runs out of the gym, believing Tommy to be dead. She is tripped by someone outside, weeping on the front lawn. She realizes that she has the ability to make her tormentors pay for what they have done, and decides then and there to exact her revenge. She telekinetically seals the gymnasium doors and activates the sprinkler system, immediately electrocuting two students. She then burns down the gym by setting an electrical fire backstage, leaving everyone inside, including the unconscious Tommy, to die, and opens all the fire hydrants near the school to prevent the fire from being put out. Only a handful of people escape, including Miss DeJarin, Tina Blake, and Norma Watson, who chronicles her experience at the prom in a news article. Carrie walks home on a circuitous path through the town, leaving a trail of destruction in her wake, opening gasoline pumps at service stations in order to let gasoline run into the street to ignite and explode, opening gas mains to cause gas explosions, pulling down power lines on people on the street. You gotta admit, she's creative there. Sue, hearing the town whistle go off from her home, rushes to Ewan High and watches it explode, destroying a portion of the town. Awesome. Carrie returns home and confronts a crazed Margaret, who claims that she had conceived Carrie due to martial rape. When Margaret stabs Carrie, she kills her mother by telekinetically stopping her heart. Mortally wounded, Carrie makes her way to the local roadhouse where her mother was raped and she was conceived. Chris and Billy, who happen to be making love inside, receive word from Billy's friend Jackie Talbot of what has happened to Chamberlain. Billy, who has somewhat disenchanted with Chris on account of a prank and is now revolted by her, makes plans to flee to California, telling Chris he might take her with him, but secretly intending to abandon her instead. They exit the roadhouse just as Carrie arrives, and Billy attempts to run her down with his car. However, Carrie, telekinetically, sends the car crashing into the roadhouse, killing Chris and Billy. Carrie then collapses in the parking lot from blood loss. Sue arrives on the scene and finds Carrie in the parking lot. Carrie, weak and dying from blood loss, speaks telepathically with Sue, blaming her for the prank. After scanning Sue's mind, she realizes that Sue had nothing to do with it and set her up with Tommy to make amends for the locker room incident. Carrie cries out for her mother and dies, which Sue experiences personally due to their brief psychic connection. As Sue walks away, she feels blood running down her thighs and screams in anguish. All right, my friends, that is part two. I will see you for part three, which will be wreckage. Go ahead, get yourself a drink, get settled, take in the information, and I will see you in a moment.